We're live. We're live an hour early, cause might as well. We got stuff to do. You're running one shot tonight. I got a hot date. So we got stuff to do. Last Friday morning, at 7 o'clock in the morning, we did play the Daggerheart. We played the Daggerheart. I have the Daggerheart right here. This 20 pounds of Daggerheart right here. We played it on Roll20, and we played it with a very skilled storyteller. I thought the storyteller was very skilled, and I feel like he taught us the game. I do feel like I walked away from the how to play one shot knowing how to play the game, which is $20 well spent. Like I felt. Yep. Yeah, that was good. Yep. So Dom, what is Daggerheart, in case there's a person that doesn't know, that somehow managed to not hear about Daggerheart in the last 2 weeks?
All right, it's a brand new narrative focus TTRPG made by Darrington Press, who is sort of the publishing company behind Critical Role, the acclaimed show Critical Role. I have a confession that I've never watched any Critical Role.
Not a single one, not even one of their one shots.
No, I haven't wanted to watch one shots, and I haven't watched Vox Machina on Amazon.
Okay.
So so just so everybody knows, that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah. So we want to clarify a couple things up front. One, neither of us really watches Critical Role at all. Like Dom just said, he's never seen a single thing, right? I used to watch Series 2. I didn't even finish Series 2. I'm not a good fan of Critical Role. I like the people behind Critical Role. I think that they do a lot of good stuff for the community.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah, they're good people. They're good ambassadors of the hobby. They're good human beings. What I found out Sam survived cancer, I was very happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just good folks. They're just good folks. So that's neither here nor there. But I didn't even know that they were making a game. I'll be honest. I heard everybody during the OGL scandal, everybody said they were making a game. I said I was making a game. Everybody said they were making a game. And it's like, that's cool, guys, right? And then they're like, we made a game. It's a 2-player game where you sort of like play D&D together, but maybe it's 4-play, and you can watch us play it. I'm like, I don't know what to do with that. Okay. And then they're like, just kidding. We made a game. It's called Obscure Candles. Candle Obscurin or something. And it's kind of a spooky game. And I'm like, okay, is that the game you made? Or did you make the one where the two people sit down and they kind of like erotic roleplay with each other? They're like, well, we made both of them. And I'm like, okay, is that it? Did you make your D&D game? They're like, no, not yet. And I'm like, okay. And I just went back to my normal life. So then I find out a few weeks ago that Daggerheart is done, I guess, cooked. It's come out of the oven. The algorithm is like, hey, Crash, you probably care about this. And I'm like, not really. Nah, it doesn't have anything to do with my cool phone game, so I don't really care. But the more the algorithm hit me in the face with it, the more I was like, okay, I'll see what's going on. So we did not at any point sign up to get free copies sent to us that we could then review, that came apparently with scented candles and dice. So I bought mine with real money. I found a seller online that still had a copy. Apparently it's very hard to get a copy of this right now. And it's cool. It's very cool. And then Cryptic Muffin was like, hey man, you want to play some Daggerheart? And then they found like a free game to play or whatever, and I was like, I can't really play on Saturday. But then I thought about it and I was like, I kind of do want to play though, especially if Dom and I are going to do a vodcast about it. So I found a game on Friday and you and I played it and we had a good time. And apparently we had a good enough time that you've decided you want to run it, which I was surprised. I didn't think during the game that you were enjoying it. Like, I felt like during the how to play one shot, I just felt like you weren't really, I don't know. It felt like you were in like big thinking mode, like real analytical mode. Like you were like you were the you were the food critic in Ratatouille. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you just moving it around in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? You were just moving it around in your mouth. So I've come to realize now that maybe you've decided that you need a little bit more before you know how you feel about it, and then that's fine. That's fine.
I will say I know that I this is probably not the game that I would want to play.
Mm. Okay.
But I feel so I want to run it to see if I would enjoy running it, because and I feel like this might be the good like one shot, mini series, more story driven game that if I wanted to do a story driven like a heist game or like a game where they're like it's not about combat, it's about doing other stuff other than just fighting stuff. I feel like this could be that game for that, because all it is just in that case it's just a bunch of skill challenges, and this game does a pretty good job of just hey, you just want to do skill challenges, here do it, and then here's if you fail it with if you pass it with fear, maybe there's a complication, and then there you have your complication table.
Okay. I kind of thought, and the same thing with Cryptic Muffin. I thought you guys were just too far gone in Pathfinder land to derive any joy from a game like this. That's where I was at. I was like, there's no way. Like, man told me 2 weeks ago that Starfinder was his game, and now he's trying to play this game. Like, I'm sitting there at the table, and I'm like, this is about as far as we could get from Pathfinder 2e and Starfinder Revised as possible without literally just playing make-believe on the playground. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, we're pretty far away from like Pathfinder 2e at this point. So, I was like, I don't know how Dom's putting up with it. I don't know how he's gonna make it through.
What like hooked me is the way they do their damage and like health and stress and stuff like that. That's what hooked me. I really like how they handle damage and HP and stress and all that stuff, and armor and evasion. I really like that part of this game.
Yeah. Okay, so I've been reading the book, reading the book, and right away at the beginning of the book, they're like, this is a combat-centric game. They said this is a narratively driven game with a big focus on combat, which I thought, one, was a very bold thing to say. Based on what I've seen. And then two, I did think that it was appropriate for them to say that, because the entire game is 80% make-believe, and the Dungeon Master gets to decide everything that happens in the whole world, and you just gotta be okay with that. Yet, there's an actual, solid, concrete, mechanical combat system strapped onto it. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild to me. And I think the combat system, like you said, I think the combat system's pretty good. With like the armor system and like different levels of toughness mean like hit different ways. I see in chat that I Am Mr. V says, I think Daggerheart will work better for casual players that don't want to math too much or plan out builds. I'm going to disagree. And here's why I'm going to disagree. When you get into combat, you're doing a lot of math. Like, you're doing a lot of math in combat. Like, you're not doing like algebra, like Pathfinder, but you are doing more math than I would want to do in a narratively driven game. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, the whole damage threshold thing is crazy. Like, crazy amount of fast math that they expect you to do, because this game is designed to play in person. So in person, you got to keep doing this fast math and then compare it to like thresholds. Like, that to me is more math than a casual game has any right to ask from you. And then you add on top of that the way they handle movement, because they don't want to have like a strict movement system. They have like a zone-based movement system, but the zone-based movement system, it's like trying to figure out the number of exploration actions you have per day based on how fucking fast your horses are all moving on average. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just trying to move my character, and it's like, well, maybe you could move your character. I don't know. And like, it's definitely, and I don't think it's bad. I think it's really well designed, but it's kind of jarring because, again, 80% of the system is like, whatever you want, baby. It's like, can I start the game with a wagon full of goods and a pet donkey because I'm a merchant? And the rule book says, sounds good, bro. Just make sure the DM's okay with it. That's it. They're not like, there's no rules. There's no explanation for why you start.
I mean, hey, they still have 50 feet of rope and basic supplies and a torch, and everybody starts with one.
Well, they're just like, you could have as many starting equips as you want. Like, they're just like, you could have anything you want. They're like, I don't remember the exact count. I think there's like 18 different, we're not allowed to call them races. What are they, ancestries in this game? Like,
yeah, ancestries.
Yeah. All right, so there's 18 different ancestries, give or take, right? And they're like, if that's not enough, you could take any two and they fucked and made a kid. Like, you could have any two. So if I wanted to make chamomile, I would make a satyr and I would combine it with a demon. Or whatever their tiefling is, right?
Infernus, I think.
Infernus and a satyr or a fawn, excuse me, and bam,
Fawn, yeah.
I've got chamomile, dunzos. It's very elegant. It's really cool. The game I played in on Sunday afternoon, there was a dude that was playing a snail man, and he had just combined like turtle with one of the other ones, and then he was like, I'm a snail guy. I was like, that's pretty cool. Someone else is like, I'm a spider girl, because they had combined like two things together that made like a spider girl. The alchemy of combining any of these two together and just saying, I'm this, very, very cool. Like, I'm into it. I think it's very, very cool. There's so many things about the system that I think are so cool. Like,
I guess
yeah?
One thing they do really well is that because all the rules are like so much like, hey, as long as the GM's okay with it, figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And because there's not that much like sort of hard concrete rules for everything, it just lets you everybody just feels more comfortable reflavoring whatever they want reflavor.
Well, yeah, because it's so narratively driven and it's so storytelling enabled, right? And it's straight up in the GM section of the book. It says, you need to ask the players to tell you about the world. And it's like, sounds great. You know what I'm saying? Sounds great. I know a lot of players that would just shut down. They would just shut down. I know a lot of players that would not be able to make a character in this system because the character sheet is just 45 factspiration questions. Like, it's crazy. Like, I mean, I'm really into it, but like, I just don't think that this is a system that anybody like. I think it's a very high skill system, not for the players, but for the GM. Like, I'm talking like master tier GM is going to be required to run this game well. Like, you are not going to be able to take somebody fresh off the bench, and be like, you ready to run some Daggerheart? And they're like, I could do it. And it's like, I don't think you can. I don't think you can. The amount of RPG horror stories that are going, and like, you and I were talking about it in chat during the tutorial game or whatever, and I was like, man, RPG horror stories, it's gonna be nuts. The guy running the tutorial game, he said that after the game. He's like, I think there's gonna be a lot of RPG horror stories about this system, and it's true, because again, 80% of the game design is literally whatever the DM wants. And then, even the stuff that isn't whatever the DM wants, it kind of still is. It kind of still is. You could be in a fight, and you run up, and you go to stab the boss, and you stab the boss good, but because of their duality system, where every roll is going to be fear or hope. You get fear on it, I could be like, heh 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 heh. Well, you managed to stab the boss right through the chest, but you got fear, so as you do, the boss changes their face to look like your lover, and now you just killed your lover, and now it's affecting you, and go ahead and take a...
Mark stress.
Yeah, mark a stress, you son of a bitch. You had the audacity to do something cool. Fuck you. And like, I'm into it. If you've played any games with me, you know that really I'm just here to torture people. Like, that's what I'm all about. Like, so like, I'm just like, yeah, that's awesome. Hello, Dom Stealing. Like, I'm like, that's awesome. That's really, really cool. I can see a lot of people, including myself, getting really butthurt if you have a petty GM or just a GM who's not very attentive, right? And then you keep getting screwed over by the DM, like the DM just deciding like something bad happens to you. Something bad happens to you. You try to do something bad happens to you. Like, it's gonna be real easy to accidentally or purposefully single people out, and they will feel singled out, and it will feel arbitrary because you're not rolling on a consequences table, okay? Like, you're just told, say some bad shit happened. Like, that's the system. Like, yeah, just, you're the DM, say some bad shit happened to him. What? Like, I grew up in 2nd edition times, and a very popular house rule that spread even without the internet was, if you roll a natural 1, something bad happens, right? It is classic. You roll something, but who decides if something bad happens? The dungeon master decides if something bad happens. I have seen young men and women kill player characters who rolled a nat 1. They're like, you stab yourself in the face. Wait, what? I stabbed myself in the face? Don't you think that's a little extreme? I'm the GM. That's the rule. Stab yourself in the face. Yeah, I mean, that's where we're at. That's that is the official design of this system, is the GM gets to decide what happens.
And they say, they preface that saying like, hey, yes, the GM is the one that decides on this, but at the end of the day, we're all supposed to be here to tell a really good story. So like, all work together on telling a really good story that everybody's going to enjoy and be a part of. But like, people,
So like, yeah, explicitly in black and white in the book, it says the DM is not the adversary. The DM is helping the players tell a story, and the players are helping the DM tell a story. That's the intent of this game. It says it right there, right? It says it right there. It also says in another section that you're not allowed to play our game if you practice any form of bigotry or racism. I don't know how the book is going to enforce any of that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, a bad DM and a bad person, they're going to be a bad DM and a bad person. You know what I'm saying? Like, this system is going to be a playground of misery in the hands of the wrong person. Like, it really is. And like, Dom, I've been running games for 30 years now, right? I run a lot of games. There were times in games for example, you called me out once. You were like, dang, bro, you were coming at Remy pretty hard in that session. You were coming at Remy pretty hard in that session. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Thanks for pointing that out to me. Do you know what I'm saying? And that was in a system where we had way more structure than what you would have in Daggerheart. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, if a person is fallible, right? If a person can make mistakes, if a person can be biased, if a person can be playing favorites and playing least favorites, this is a tough system. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a tough system to run, and it's a tough system to play in. Could you imagine just trying to play Daggerheart and you sign up for a game on startplaygames.com? You don't know anything about the DM.
Yeah.
You're putting everything in that stranger's hands and hoping that they tell a story that treats everyone at the table fairly, equitably. Bro, bro.
Yeah.
So that's one part of it.
What's keep happening? Oh, I see.
Somebody pulling on the cord.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing that I have a lot of concern about that's an easy fix is the no initiative system. I'm sorry, but that's just the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like, just the dumbest design I've ever seen. I don't mean to be so blunt about it, but it's stupid. Like, it's bad design.
I'm not gonna knock it just yet. I'm not gonna knock it just yet, because I feel like what they're trying to do, because it's gonna be, because they say, you know, you do it like, you know, each person gets like around 3 before somebody, you know.
Okay, but how do you know that they had 3?
Well, that's the idea.
On top of having to improvise everything, on top of having to adjudicate everything, on top of having to make 80% of the rules decisions in the game live as they're happening, you also have to keep track and make sure that no one person has gone 3 times before somebody else has gone 1 time.
So I guess the point here is that the players are supposed to work together, make sure they play together. But
what kind of
people.
What kind of utopia?
I know exactly.
Yeah,
people.
Like, this is so stupid.
So the way I think it's like, the idea is like, okay, if somebody's in a tough spot, maybe they go, you know, once, and then the GM goes because they roll with fear, and then they go again to get out of it, and then somebody else goes or jumps in, so they want to help. Like, the idea is you're supposed to, like, whoever goes next, it doesn't necessarily need to be one at a time. You know, one person, then the next person, then the next person, because maybe for story wise, it might make sense that one person goes, another person goes, and then then that person goes again, just to finish off that sort of scene.
Like, I get that, man, but like, again,
but yeah, I don't know how it's gonna work, and I'm gonna see how it works today.
People are people. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I looked at like the design team, like, and I looked at like their core playtesters and stuff. These are the best people, okay?
Yeah.
All of these people, these are the best people, okay? These are people who, when they go to get coffee, they get coffee for other people, okay? Like, that's the kind of people that these are, all right? And if you're the kind of person that goes to get coffee, and you get coffee for other people, and you remember what coffee those other people like, this is your game. Do you know what I'm saying? But if you're a normal fucking person, it's gonna get complicated. It's gonna get complicated, is all I'm saying. Like, we have a lot of Spotlight Hogs on our server. I'm not going to call any of them out by name, but we got people who, in an initiative-based world, have to be told, you need to stop. You need to sit down and let the other people play the game too. Like, and then you're going to bring those people into a system that has no restraints at all. Like, they could just be like, and then I do this, oh, and then I do this, whoa, and then I do that, and then I do this. And then one of the things that I really liked about the game was the combo system, like the hookup, you know, 2 people, X strike, chrono trigger, you know, right? A little disappointing that it doesn't allow up to 3 people, because I feel like if you're gonna have 2 people team up, you might as well have 3 people.
There's an item.
There's an item that does it?
Yeah, that lets you, so once per session, you can do a tag up with 3 people.
Do a triple tag up? Okay, that's sick as hell. All right. I love it, right? I love it. I think it's gonna end up with situations where, like, those alpha players are gonna be like, help me with this thing! Team up with me right now, you know what I'm saying? And they're gonna be like I'm in the spotlight. That guy's gonna help me, and like, maybe that guy doesn't want to fucking help you. Maybe that guy's tired of you going 7 times per round. Oh, sorry, there's no rounds anymore. Like, like, it's so easy to just have an initiative system and use the initiative. It's so stupid. Like, all you gotta do is be like, it's your turn, and they're like, can I pass turn? And you're like, of course you can pass turn, my delicate snowflake, my beautiful sunflower. That's fine. And then you move on. But that's all you need.
Popcorn.
That's all you need. Yeah, popcorn initiative, Lancer initiative, done. That way you do not progress to the next round without making sure that everybody was at least contacted. Do you know what I'm saying? I have a lot of Wallflower players, just like I have a lot of Showboats and Spotlight Hogs and all that kind of stuff, and they would love a system where they're allowed to skip, and it won't negatively impact the rest of the party. That's the key. That's what I do like about this system's quote unquote no initiative system, is like, if I made a character who is a roleplay king and a social butterfly and the best craftsman in the world, but he absolutely sucks at combat, any other system, I'm a liability in combat, because action economy is a thing, and essentially I'm not paying my share of the action economy. But this system says, dash okay fam, super ultimate uber fighter deluxe, he could go in your place. He could go twice per round, and you don't have to feel bad about it. And then when we're in a skill challenge, he can pass his turn to you because he didn't build a balanced character. He doesn't know how to do anything except violence. And now your character could go twice during the skill challenge. I think that's fantastic. I think that's amazing design. I love that. But without a framework, without any framework, that's crazy. There's a lot of stuff in here that it's like, if the world actually worked like that, it would be amazing, guys. But it doesn't. That's just not how this is not how it is. So yeah, I did feel like that was that's definitely a very cool thing, but also I think an easy fix is you just throw up something like Popcorn or Lancer Initiative. Just make sure people are having a chance to do something, and then you're solid. Another concern I had about this was well, actually I'm gonna bounce the ball to you, man. What do you got to say about it? I keep going on and on. I'm very excited about it. But what do you got to say about it?
I really like, so I think we spent like I don't know, on the server like a good couple hours the other day just making characters, right? And going through and actually leveling them up to level 10 and seeing all what the cards could do and how they do their level up system, and it's pretty cool. Like some of the stuff your characters can do are like, it is things that were like they're like sort of broken in D&D, but they make it so like it's once per rest and it requires this cost or something like that, or you could just do this when you do this, or if it costs hope, or like I think they did a really good job of making the characters and the cards feel very strong and intense, and make it so it's pretty hard choice, since you only can ever have 5 of them.
Well, again, and that's 4th edition design, is as you got higher in level, you would have to replace existing cards with more powerful cards, but sometimes those lower level cards were so good that you kept them all the way through to the end because they were the right card for your build.
And some of the and they do a good job of making some of those low level cards sort of scale with whatever tier you're in, of play you're in. So like once you're level 2, you're in tier 2, and so then this card upgrades to the tier 2 version of that card automatically. So they do a pretty good job. I think they did a really good job of their character building and how you level up and the things you get to choose every time you level up, and all the things that you can do, and picking out the cards, and figuring out if this is a very roleplay heavy system, you can focus on leveling up your experiences and getting them higher so that you can roll on them. If this is a very combat heavy one where you're getting attacked a lot and you need to be tanky, you can focus on increasing your evasion and your HP and your stress. If your build is very stress heavy, like all your cards you're picking are stuff that you have to spend stress for, maybe you focus on leveling up your stress levels. So they do a pretty good job at that, and I think that's amazing. Like they do a really good job of making on the character design, the card design, and leveling up and build, and being able to do a build in sort of this very narrative focus game.
Yeah, I think every mechanic that they bother to have is well done. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I think is incredible about it, that it's 80% imagination, but the 20% that they actually built is solid. Yeah. And you don't get that a lot, in my opinion, with these narrative games. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't find a good way to sort of marry mechanics with narration in a way that feels good. But I do feel like they did that here with this game. Like I do feel like they did that.
something that I'm kind of on the fence about.
Mm-hmm.
Initiative, yeah, for sure. I want to try it out, try running it, and see how it goes. Because it went pretty well with us when we played without any initiative. We all kind of sort of agreed that everybody should get a turn.
Yeah.
But we were trying to learn, and people were also trying to learn. So we passed the baton over.
Well, I do feel like the other two guys were very uncomfortable. It was two other guys, right? It was four of us.
Yeah, four of us. They did seem very like. I guess I was just sort of thinking, okay, maybe these are wallflower.
I think they were just confused
players.
about where the initiative was.
Yeah.
Like, I think they spent a lot of the time being like, I don't know if it's appropriate for me to go because it feels kind of rude to go and, interrupt the DM and interrupt the other players. You know what I'm saying? I think maybe in person, like, it would work a little bit better. But even in person, I would have like a conch shell. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have an actual totem, like a physical item,
So,
like a plushie or something, right? And when you finish your turn, you have to pass it to someone else at the table.
So the quick start adventure, it has a PDF and there's like cutout standees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They have a cutout called the action card or the spotlight card or something like that you're supposed to pass around whenever you have the spotlight.
Yeah. Like, I definitely want something like that in person, and then to simulate that, that's what Lancer Initiative does for you. Like, I mean, that's what it's for. Yeah. Man. One thing I really like is frames, campaign frames. I think that's a genius way to, because we talk all the time, or at least we used to. I don't know if we, have that same mindset with Pathfinder. I still have the same mindset with Pathfinder, which is reskin to win, right? Like, why make something new when you could just change out the token art, change out the name, and now Zombie Hulk is Flesh Golem Hulk. You know what I'm saying? Like, that done, right? So easy. This brute, you give him a couple of pirate abilities, he's a pirate brute now. Like, it's
100%,
that. Yeah. So I love that concept of reskin to win. Not only applied to the ancestries, right? Because you can mix and match them, whatever. But also applied to like literally the campaign setting. Like literally the campaign setting. They're like, what kind of story do you want to tell? Oh, okay. Then why don't you have this? And then you just have a thing, and it's a special rule, or a special feature, or a special feature and a special rule that you slap onto the campaign. Because at the end of the day, everything really does boil down to like one or two very interesting things that define the campaign. And if they don't have it, then it's probably not that interesting of a campaign or a setting, right? Or at least it doesn't have anything that sets it apart, right? Like, if we look through the campaigns we have now, you could say Kingmaker has king making, right? Like, that's the frame, right, of that system, is like the king making aspect of it. Stolen Fate, it's manipulation of reality, time, space, blah blah blah. Alkenstar, wild magic. You know what I'm saying? Like, punishing people for using magic, rewarding people for not using magic. Like, that's the kind of, the frame that you might apply to that setting. Like, they even suggest in here, like, yeah, you could run a sci-fi game, you could run this, and all you gotta do is just change the flavor of the longsword. Now it's a laser sword. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just that easy. And anybody that balks at that, you're not going to be able to play this game.
Yeah.
Like, anyone who's like, what do you mean I have to just pretend a longsword is a laser sword? A longsword's not a laser sword. They're different. And it's like, okay, you can't play this game. You can't play this game.
One of the things that I really like to, speaking about that, and like the idea of like, just go ahead, it's okay to reflavor.
Yeah.
Is like one of the options they said, like, if you have a wizard and your wizard wants to wear plate, but you don't like the idea of like a wizard wearing like metal armor and stuff like that, maybe you just say that their plate is like magical runes that they embedded into their robes, that is it, and just use the stats for plate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're like, you want to be an alchemist and we don't have an alchemist, play whatever class you want and say that you're throwing potions.
Yep.
Like, Because literally, you could ask your GM, "Can I start the game with a cart full of goods and a donkey?" And like the DM's like, I don't see why not. I don't know. It's not really going to impact my game in any way. I mean, if it makes you feel better to have that, that's cool. Like, this isn't a game about surviving in the wild. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a shit if you have a wagon. Like, this isn't a game about exploring and having random encounters. So, like, none of that matters. You know, like, it doesn't matter. We don't need to worry about Lehman's tiny hut because there's none of that in this game. Do you know what I mean? Like, for the most part, like, unless you go out of your way to make that part of the game, it really is trying to just focus on the most important parts of the story that you're trying to tell. And I think that's great. I think it's great. Oh, man. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't know. How do you feel about unlimited magic?
Okay.
How do you feel about unlimited magic points? Because that was something that kind of came up in the tutorial game. Is somebody was like, "Wait, so we just have unlimited magic?" You know what I'm saying? So like, I did think that was kind of an interesting point.
So what I noticed is that the stuff that is very strong, usually either costs a hope or stress, or limited by
or
time.
Both.
So like, or both, or limited by time.
Yeah.
And then the stuff that is like, I'm gonna just try and restrain the person, and the GM can just spin a fear to say he breaks out of the restrainment. You know, like those stuff you can repeat, but it's still an attack roll, and you're still doing like attacking them. So how's that any different from like somebody trying to grab? You know, like usually you're spending an action and making a roll to apply a condition. The stuff that's crazy usually is limited by hope, and I was struggling with hope during that that game because I kept rolling with fear.
Yeah, I mean, I was having a great game. I got like 3 or 4 crits. I mean, I was like constantly replenishing my stuff. Like, I mean, it's easy to say I had a good time because I was rolling like champ. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, and a lot. And then I know also for me, the only thing I really had to spend hope on was the main class that their hope the 3 hope feature that every class has, which just gives me some extra evasion. But everything else for me costs stress. But
you could have been spending the hope on your experience proficiencies and making like better rolls with it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, sure, but at the time, none of my experience stuff was based off of fighting. It was sticky fingers and unassuming. So it was about hiding and stealing stuff. And so,
I mean, I kind of like the experience system because it's basically like the OG 5e backgrounds where if you can bullshit it to your GM, the GM's going to be like, fine, you can roll to the advantage, blah, blah, blah. It kind of had that energy of like, and like, it also, like, if you're a power gamer, right, like, and you're picking your experiences, you just put fighting. It's like, okay, sure, yeah. If that's how you want to, if that's how you want to be, if that's how you want to be, sure, man. Like, hope is going to get spent regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was concern that, like, well, can't I just always max out my hope before I go into a scene by just rolling until I get all my hope filled up? And it was like, and the game's like, no, you only get to roll when the GM says you're allowed to roll. And I thought that was really cool because I could definitely see people trying to come up with reasons to roll to refill the tank. You know what I'm saying?
They also tell the GM that if you feel like the characters, you only ask for a roll if success or failure makes a difference in the story.
Right. Yeah. There ain't no climb checks to get up and down ladders in this system.
Like one of the examples they gave was like, hey, so-and-so hears some people coming up before and they say, oh, I want to hide behind this rock as they come by. And the GM says, okay, you hide.
Yeah, the end. That's cool.
There's no you're just hiding.
Yeah.
You're hidden.
Yeah. I like the fear system. And I do want to talk about the double-edged sword of the fear system because there's already been people that are like, well, if the GM is fueled by fear, what if there's a combat where the players never roll fear and the GM doesn't have any fear at all? Does that mean that the bad guys just stand there and do nothing and the good guys just get to go forever? And it's like, no, it literally just says in the rules, the GM can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so I will admit, if I was running a session of this game and I ran out of fear early in the fight because I was going hard, you know what I'm saying? I'm going hard. I want them, I'm interrupting all the time. I want to show them, this is a tough fight. And then they never, for the rest of the fight, rolled a single fear. I would probably only give myself one per round. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I would be using an initiative tracker, and then I would just, at the end of a round, I would get a fear back. So I'd at least do something.
You don't even need to do that, because whenever they fail, even if they fail with hope, GM goes.
Yeah, the GM can still jump in. Yeah.
So like, as long as now, if they succeed with hope every single time, and you're out of fear, then you wait. Then the next thing after that is there a golden opportunity for a monster to go? All right, GM goes.
Right. True. Yeah. So like, but again, imagine that you're a Pathfinder kid, okay? And your friends are like, come on, play this game with us. It'll be a lot of fun. And you show up to play this. You're a Pathfinder kid, okay? And you show up to play this game.
Has my GM managed my expectations?
Listen to me. You're a Pathfinder kid, and you show up to play this game. This is all I can think about the whole time we were playing it. Yeah. You're a Pathfinder kid, and your friends have tricked you into playing this game, okay? And you're like trying to fill out your character sheet, and sorry, hold on. And for the color of your eyes, it just says eyes the color of, and you're like, I don't know, blue? Like the color of blue? Like, what do you mean the color of? The color is blue. Like, what the fuck? And it's like hair that flows like what? What are you talking about? Like
hair?
Yeah, hair? I don't know. Like everything, they try so hard to be theater kid evocative on everything. Yeah. A Pathfinder kid will be taking constant mental damage. Like constant mental damage. And then they're like, they finally get into it, right? They finally get into it. They're in it. It's time. Oh, combat's breaking out. This is my bread and butter, baby. I know how combat works. I play Pathfinder 2e, baby. I know what I'm doing. And then the DM's like, there's no initiative tracker. And the Pathfinder, like, there's no initiative? Like, there's no what? You know, and then, like, the Pathfinder kid goes up and he stabbed you. I stabbed you. And then he gets a fear, even though he successfully stabbed you. He gets a fear. And then the DM's like, yeah, and then he slams you into the ground. And the guy's like, wait, what? How did he slam me into the ground? Did he make a roll? Did he do an athletics? Did he do any, like, do I get any way to stop it? And the GM's like, nah, you just get thrown on the ground. Because I said so.
Have you looked at any of the monsters yet?
Yeah, they're amazing.
They are pretty good.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
But I don't think that amazing monsters are gonna save a Pathfinder kid from having a fucking aneurysm trying to play this game, dude. All I could think about the whole time, I was like, I want to trick. No, this is a terrible thing to say. I want to trick like 4 or 5 Pathfinder kids into playing this game, but they don't know anything about it. Do you know what I'm saying? And I want to record the experience. I want to record the experience, and I just want to see. It's like a social experiment. Like, how bad does it get? Oh man.
Trying to get on RPG Horror Stories, I see.
Every day of my life. Oh my god. And like we're playing, and like our guy on the tutorial thing, he really held back, and I could tell that this was an old school former adversarial GM, because he made sure as his resume to tell us about all the times he counterspelled Revivify. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he wanted us to know that he was swinging a big dick. You know what I mean? He wanted us to know what a hard motherfucker he was. And I'm just like, sure, bro. Okay, cool. Sounds good. And like, we're playing it, and I could feel him holding back. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like every time we rolled a fail, or not a fail, a fear as part of what we're doing, and God forbid, a fear and a fail, he was holding back. Like, I know he wanted to just punch in our teeth joke's on him. We were frogs. We didn't have any teeth. But still, he wanted to, like, you know, really give it to us. Give it to us hard.
Yep.
And the 1 or 2 times that he did, I thought the other 2 guys were going to quit. Like, I thought the other 2 guys were just going to be like, I'm out. I can't do this. What do you mean you just get to hit me because I hit you and you just automatically hit me? That's not right. That can't happen. I got to stress for successfully stabbing you? I failed because I win? That doesn't make any sense. I'm just like, damn, this system going to be wild. This is going to be a wild time.
Yeah.
So obviously I fell in love with the system immediately when I saw the potential for chaos and butthurt and just total fuckery. I was like, damn, this is good. This is going to be real good. Oh, man. Maybe I shouldn't say all this because I do want some people to sign up for my game when I post it. I mean, what I like is that it's an opportunity for me as a storyteller to show how responsible I am with the story and the players, their feelings, their dreams, their expectations. I can't wait for an opportunity to sit down together as a found family and tell our story.
That's not what the subtitle said.
Oh, man. But isn't that kind of what the design was hoping for, right? It was hoping that you were going to get your capital F, found family, and you were going to get together and tell your capital O, our story together.
I mean,
and
this is it. Like everybody who first time sees this and puts out any type of content about it, this looks like it was made for theater kids.
Oh, it's made by and for theater kids.
Theater kids.
Yeah.
So it is about a group of theater kids having fun telling stories.
Absolutely.
And the GM is also a theater kid who's just trying to tell a theater kid story with his theater kid friends. His or her theater kid friends.
Absolutely. And it is like theater, but I want to clarify. This is not theater kids playing Fate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is theater kids who do actually like crunchy combat.
Yep.
Like they're like, yeah, make believe, having fun, yeah, having gay romance. This is amazing. I love this. Oh man, look at my cool character. And I was like, your character's so cool. And then they all of a sudden, boom, combat, and they shift gears and they have a kick-ass combat that's incredibly narrative. And then they only die if they talk to the DM ahead of time and they said, I'm really not enjoying playing my blood hunter. I built him all wrong and he's kind of a shit character. Can you kill him off for me, Matt, and make it look like you did it on purpose? I'm sorry. Anyways, that's just a random example. Then your character will probably die in Daggerheart. I think that's the only time that you're allowed to kill a character in Daggerheart is if the player says, will you kill me?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep, that's it. Because when you would die, you get to decide. Cadenex, are you out there? You've been waiting for this ever since I met you. You've been waiting for this ever since I fucking met you. When you would die in this game, you get to decide if you die or not. The only exception is if, and this was what I read in the book, you throw yourself in a volcano. So if you pull a Keyleth and you throw yourself into a volcano, that was the Keyleth example of throwing yourself into a volcano, then you probably will die. You probably will die. But like if the GM kills you in combat, you decide if you die or not. I mean, so you could only only get so.
There's one way.
You could only get so butthurt in a game where you get to decide if you die or not.
There's one way. There's one way you can die without, and it's not, it's not your decision. Is if you've died 6 times to the point where you've gotten a scar and you have no more hope slots left, and then you die. Then you mark all your HP again, and then you decide you only have 2 choices now: to go out to die and go out in a blaze of glory, or gamble.
Oh my God. I am Mr. V is ready to play this system, Dom. He said, or after I throw myself in the volcano, I'm rebirthed as a phoenix. You're ready, dude. You're ready.
Yep, he's ready.
If you need a reference that says you're ready, I'm here. Like, have him contact me. I'll tell him. I am Mr. V is ready to play this game. He understands the assignment.
No, okay. If I have criticism about that statement. Instead of saying or, you're supposed to say and.
Yeah, yes and. You have to say yes and in this system. You have to say yes and. But if you do say no, you gotta say no but. Yeah. Yes and no but. Bro, I've been training my whole life for this system. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, a crunchy combat system, not having to, like, memorize a lot of rules, making everything up on the fly, improv. I mean, this is my bailiwick. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I'm about. Like, I don't know. I was just like, I feel like I was pretty subdued as a player during the tutorial. I really didn't want to, like, you know, do a lot. I wanted to see a lot. You know what I'm saying? And like, I was only jumping in when there was like awkward silences.
Yeah, dead
you know
air.
What I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, I was just like delighted. Like the whole time, I'm just thinking to myself, like, okay, this is a train wreck. Like, this is gonna be real bad. Like, what a amazingly bad and good system. It was the same way I felt when I was reading the rules for Dragonbane. And I was like, there is nothing in this in Dragonbane that is balanced at all. Like, the only thing that's balanced about it is how unbalanced it is. Like, there's just nothing about it that is in any way, for a single second, was like, maybe we should balance this. Nope. They're just like, sounds cool, put it in. And it's like, I feel like this did a better job. I do feel like the crunchy parts are equitable to each other. I'm sure through play, we're going to find out that there's just sick, broken combos and, you know, like, this is way better than that, and this is consistently better than this. Like, sure, that's just every game with rules that gets played a lot. But, like, I mean, I think it's pretty good. Looking at the rules, my main impression was that this system requires a lot of trust and collaboration between players and GM.
100%,
yeah,
1000%.
Going back to that earlier, that earlier clip where I talked about, getting my found family together and telling our story. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm about. That's how I am. That's what I want from this game. I don't know what Dom wants. Dom always trying to kill his players. You know what I'm saying? He always trying to kill his players. Me, I'm like, I'm just here for the story. You know what I'm saying? I wanna know your 42-page backstory. I don't just want to know it. I want to live it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I played Daggerheart 1.5 times. I'm changed. I'm a changed fan. Oh my god. I just feel like a bad guy who's gotten a hold of like something that was meant for good guys.
Hey, remember he was trying to figure out, you were trying to figure out, I need to get one more game in and I need to figure out what to do. And I was like, do Dragonbane with kobolds. I mean, hey,
bro,
maybe those kobolds are, a found family.
Daggerheart kobolds. Oh shit, man, that's good.
Well, actually, you probably can't do that because then, if I remember from what I remember about the story of that game, I think that goes against their terms of service.
What do you mean? What's the terms of service?
The thing about that one line, not the terms of service, that one line in the book about if you practice this inside this campaign, inside this game, I'm pretty sure there was one character in there who really, really, really did not like kobolds.
That's true. Yeah.
Dragonbane didn't know.
I don't know, man. I kind of want to. I want to see what I could do with this. I feel like we could do some pretty fun stuff. I feel like I agree with you that one shot and miniseries is the medium for this, and I do think that in person is always going to be better than online for this. Like,
if I were to say one campaign that I think could work, one long campaign that I think could work in this, is Odyssey.
Okay, so I've been talking to Josh Butler, right? And he is the most Pathfinder we have, right? Like, if aliens came down and they said, "Crash Gem, bring forth your most Pathfinder child, or we will destroy the planet. It'd be Josh Butler, and boom, done. Here he is, right? So like, he is building and he's gonna run Odyssey of the Dragon Lords. He's gonna do Mythic Odyssey of the Dragon Lords using Pathfinder 2e Mythic rules. So this will be his third time running it, and he's gonna be running it with the Mythic rules. And listening to him, looking at his notes, looking at his conversion stuff, it's perfect. It's the perfect thing for that. Yet, what you just said is also true. Two completely opposite ends of the spectrum are actually both the best way to tell the story of Odyssey of the Dragon Lords. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what else would have been a good one to run it with? Wild Beyond the Witchlight, Isekai.
Oh my goodness.
It would have been amazing.
Campaign frames for that, and
yeah. Dual souls. Dual souls is the campaign frame. You are two characters at once. You're mixing and matching as you go.
Yep.
Bro, I'm just saying, there's an elegance to it. You and I built, what was it by the end? A 68, 69 page house rules document to try and fix 5th edition D&D. And we would say all the time, the best thing about 5e is how flexible the system is, how easy it is to change it, adapt it. This has that beat by miles. You know what I'm saying? By miles. This is such a simple and elegant system, and it just lends itself so perfectly to reskinning. Everything about it is just ripe for easy reskinning into whatever you need it to be. Oh, so good. So good. So my final review, we're at time. So my final review is I think that Daggerheart is fucking great, but I also think it's going to be a terrible experience for a lot of people. So that's my final review. If you could get Matt Mercer or me, maybe Matt Colville, if you could get somebody on that level to run you through Daggerheart, it's going to be the best time you've ever had. If you could get Jacob from XP to level 3 to run you through a Daggerheart game, it's going to be the best time you've ever had in your life. Otherwise, it might be the worst time you've ever had. It's that easy for this game to be real bad. The quality of your game master is so important. More important, I would say, than any other TTRPG I've ever seen. For this game. You have to trust your game master and be willing to go with the flow of that game master and the way they run the game and their narrative, or you're gonna have a bad time.
And I'll also add to that if you're a GM and you're pretty good and you're gonna follow what the spirit of this game and have your players make stuff up in the story, and you have to sort of improvise off of it. You also have to have players that you trust too, because they can really just take you off the rails, and then you have to try and bring it back around, especially if you're trying to follow the spirit of this game. Because a lot of times they'll be you walk into a tavern and the game will sort of encourage you to ask the players what's inside this tavern that gets their interest.
Yeah.
Without you knowing what's inside the tavern at all. And so you have to hope your players are okay, we know what this story is about. We're trying to tell this story about this sort of frame, in this sort of framework. So as a player, I'm gonna put this stuff that is gonna, add to the story. But then you have, you might have the player that's and there's a person there that has, is leaving their goal on, their money on the floor where it's easily stolen. And right next to me. And you're okay.
And then the GM is hell yeah, I spend a fear. Someone snatches it up and they run for the exit. And then that's when you realize this is the most famous hangout for the city guards. It's really easy if you are that kind of player or that kind of GM that can pivot. Like you're gonna be on your toes running this system. You're gonna be like bop 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 bop. So what is your final consensus if you had to give like a Dom says this about Daggerheart?
I think it's really well made, really well thought out on the mechanical side that they are presenting in this TTRPG. I think the character design, leveling up, like the meat of like building your characters, designing your characters, reflavoring it, figuring out how you want to level up, like is very fun. It's very fun, sort of leveling up and picking out cards and stuff like that. It makes me want to try and play games in person. Like if I want to play a game in person, I want to play this in person.
Mm-hmm.
I want to try and play this in person.
Well, I'm definitely hoping to run at least one, maybe two, at the July get together. Like,
I will say, at least for me, like playing it so far, I'm a little hesitant on being like a player for this game. Maybe I have a GM that I trust, and maybe once in a while. But this is not going to be. I don't think this is the game for me to play, and I'm going to find out today if it's a game that I enjoy running. But I think I probably will have a decent time running this campaign, this game, and especially if I have the right people, right players.
So I'm very curious why, and we're at time, but I am very curious why do you feel that you would enjoy running it but not playing it? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I've come to learn that I enjoy running Pathfinder 2e way more than I enjoy playing Pathfinder 2e. So I know that you enjoy both aspects of Pathfinder 2e, running it and playing it. So why would this be okay to run, but you don't feel like it'd be okay to play?
Because what I like about playing is like playing the game, if I'm as a player, what I'm going to be doing. The stuff I'm going to be doing that's sort of fun is the stuff that I enjoy doing when I'm GMing, like coming up with a character, playing that, doing that stuff like world building and stuff like that. And so instead of doing that in the player seat, I rather just do that in the GM seat. And when I'm in the player seat, I want to play the game, like do the action economy, do the rolling the dice for all that stuff, doing the meat of the system, where in this case, as a player, that meat of the system is, okay, the GM's going to tell me the roll. Most of the time, I'm probably not going to be asked to roll too many things because that's what the system wants you. It says, if you're just going to do it, you go ahead and do it. And then when it happens, you roll. Where I feel like I would probably enjoy more that aspect. I think I would enjoy more in the GM seat than I would in the player seat.
See, playing the game in Daggerheart is just sitting around and make believe and being a theater kid. Like that's playing the game. Like and I'm not a theater kid. Okay, interesting. Okay, well, that brings us to a close. When's your game start? Like now? Like no, 8. Right? 8 o'clock. 8. Okay, are you guys gonna stream it or no?
I didn't really figure it out. I mean, Red might be playing. If somebody wants to stream, they can stream. Okay. Or if anything, somebody could jump in the Discord and listen and watch if they want to watch.
Make Cryptic Muffin stream it. They got a channel now. Sure. All that jazz. There you go.
Sure.
All right. The algorithm will love it. It's hungry for people doing Daggerheart stuff. All right. Cool. Well, interesting. Yeah. All right. You said a lot of things about Daggerheart that surprised me. I was not expecting that. So yeah, that was good. All right. Hope everybody has a good night, good weekend. I'll be back tomorrow to do a quick stream about more of the Japan trip. Sunday we got Kingmaker prep and the Kingmaker session. Monday, Stolen Fate. Tuesday, I'm going to continue my prep for 7 Dooms for Sandpoint. The official campaign will start July 8th, but it, to the best of my knowledge, will not be streamed. But I'll continue to stream the prep for the game. And then
did you figure out if you're going to be local recording?
Oh, I meant to ask them about that. Yeah, I might. Yeah, I'd like to locally record it. 1, just to have a record of the game, but 2, it could be a good learning tool thing to put on Patreon or whatever. Thursday we've got Skyhaven, and then Friday maybe another VODCAST. I don't know. There's a lot of other games going on. You got Strength of Thousands on Tuesdays.
Strength of Thousands Tuesday. Yeah. Wednesday is Carrying Crown. And then Saturday is Feast of Ravenmore.
Yep. And there was the Orc game. I think that's on a hiatus for a week.
Yes. Yeah, Orc game's on a hiatus for a week, and also Friday and Saturday we also the Blades in the Dark with Sam.
Yeah, so there's a lot of games, and then there may or may not be another Crash Gem game on Wednesdays starting in August. Don't even know what the game's gonna be yet. Probably gonna be a Daggerheart game. That's what it sounds like.
Sounds like
yeah. I may or may not be working on getting VTT support set up unofficially, and following all the rules of the SRD, following all the rules.
Didn't they just release the thing where Foundry and Foundry is now part of their licensing for
yes. So hopefully by August somebody has something really good cooked up, because it's really I'm not into programming, so like getting all these things set up and trying to get special macros and all that, it's a lot. But yeah. All right. Then enjoy your weekend. I'll see you guys next time.
Ready.
All right.
Take care.